Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Anissa Khuderi. So I will explain the ratio of Besico. First, debt services coverage ratio. The formula is operating income revenue divided by total debt service cost. For 2016, I got 0.89 times for Besico, and 2015 I got 2.69 times for Besico. 2015 is more favorable than 2016 because their income more available to pay debt. In 2015, Besico have enough operating profit to pay debt services, and Besico also can use some of their saving. As a result, Besico have more cash and able to pay their debt obligation in time in 2015 compared to 2016. So, Besico can use to continue their operation as usual. Second is debt equity. The formula is total liability divided by shareholder equity. For 2016, I got 3.4 times, and 2015 is 3.25 times. This shows that Besico have high debt to equity in 2016 and slightly low in 2015. This means Besico are not able to generate enough cash to satisfy their debt obligation. As a conclusion, Besico may not able to attract additional capital to continue their operation. This is why Bursa Malaysia are not approved Besico fifth application to maintain their public listed company status. This will make Besico Stock Exchange delisted from appeal in Bursa Malaysia. Therefore, Besico have to approve China investor that can provide capital to their company that can reduce their debt equity ratio. Lastly, equity multiplier. The formula is total asset divided by total shareholder equity. For 2016, I got 2.16 times, and 2015 is 2.44 times. Besico have highly leveraged and more risky for investor and creditor in 2015 compared to 2016. This means that current investor in Besico actually own less of the company asset than the current creditor. This might give a way for Besico to bankruptcy. Therefore, Besico have to accept China investor to increase their shareholder equity and make their equity multiplier lower. This will show that Besico more conservative and more favorable than higher ratio when the Besico not accept the China investor. Besico will less dependent on debt financing and did not have high on debt servicing costs. This can attract more investors, and Besico may able to be listed in Bursa Malaysia and increase their share price. That's all from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Syahirah Binti Umar Ludin. Here comes to my part on recommendation for Besico to improve the financial performance. The first recommendation for Besico is to expand the customer base. As for Besico, they need to know how to keep their current customers, since the customer retention is an essential part of expanding the customer base. As for new customers, Besico needs to invest in different marketing tools to help their brands gain more visibility and to increase the number of the customers. But what is important here is to find the balance between the money that Besico invests and the money returned by attracting more customers. For example, Besico need to export their products to China market, since China have a wider platform and wider market as compared to they only sell their products locally. If they manage to widen their market to China, it will lead to business expanding and also directly expanding their customer base. The second recommendation is to upgrade the record keeping. Besico need to make sure that their record keeping is spotless and up to date. The main thing to improve the financial situation is to have a valid image of financial situation of the company. Besico can do this with the help of the professional because records would be the crucial tools in decision-making process. For example, some data that Besico needs to know is include the profits that they get from each products, as well as which product is the most profitable one. The cash flow of Besico should not be stretched thin, and knowing the state of the financial at all times will help Besico to decide on future tools acquisition, investment and changes to their offer. And now here comes to the last part for the recommendation, which is Besico needs to offer additional payment options to the customer. Since Besico have widened their marketplace to China, they need to offer additional payment options because different markets has different payment options. Example of payment option that Besico can offer are using credit card, e-commerce and also payment systems like BPay, PayPal or Bill Pay. If Besico offer many payment options, it will easy for the customers to choose how they will pay to Besico using their own preferable choice. This payment option will attract the customer since they will find easy to purchase the products from Besico. And that's all from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I am Fatin Najihah and I will be discussing about workers' protests in Besico. So let's see how we can solve this issue. Be brief about what actually happened when Besico wants to shut down the operation of Giant Steel, which is the main product in steel division. The closure of Giant Steel will affect 800 workers altogether, where most of them have worked with Besico for more than 10 years. They are arguing about their retrenchment and salary cut issues since January. Plus, there is no proper retrenchment agreement made to them. Can the workers challenge a retrenchment? Firstly, let's see what the law said about retrenchment. Besico should set out well-documented objective criteria for the selection of employees to be retrenched. Besico need to take into consideration the worker to be retrenched that includes their ability, experience, skills and qualifications as well as their length of service. Secondly, Besico is required to give affected employees a notice of retrenchment. The Employment Act 1955 and the Employment Regulations 1980 govern the retrenchment procedures. The length of the notice depends on the terms of the employment contract agreement. Section 12 subsection 2 provides 2 years or more but less than 5 years, the notice must be given not less than 6 weeks. And the workers that are working for more than 5 years, the notice must be given not less than 8 weeks. Thirdly, the key administrative requirement is reporting of the retrenchment exercise to the relevant authorities. Failure to do so constitute an offence under Section 99A of the Employment Act and is punishable with a fine of Rm 10,000. As in the case of Besico, the workers wants to report the case to the government if Besico not taking any further action about the retrenchment. The notice to the authorities requires Besico to include reason for retrenchment, the benefit payable to the workers, number of local and foreign workers, and etc. Lastly, the retrenchment benefit need to be paid out of affected workers. Any workers or employees who fall within Employment Act is entitled to receive termination benefits employed under continuous contract or at least 12 months before the retrenchment. So now, let's moving on to solve the workers' retrenchment issue. The first one is redeployment or transfer. Besico should consider redeploying redundant staff to other areas or workplace. This is applicable for Besico as it has group of companies or subsidiaries. Minor retraining may result in the workers being suitable for the new vacancy. The next one is paying some compensation to the affected workers. The amount of retrenchment benefit depends on what is provided in the employment contract. If there is no provision, it will have to be negotiated between the workers and the employer. Last solution is helping the workers to find a new job. Besico can consider affected employees for opportunity at other locations with the same job scope that can offer them a contract work. At the very least, hold the job fairs and help them write effective resume and learn how to leverage their personal networks. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, and my name is Nadira Farahana. So I'm going to proceed with the proposing the restructuring plan. So let's go. Firstly, turnover management, stabilize company and set winning strategy. Besico should reduce the cost and increase their profits. Besico should go through every development process to analyze the cost which they can cut the cost. Besico also should improve the performance of the company. Maybe the company should start with the employee, find the alternative ways to boost employee motivation. Overall, Besico also should reorganizing to improve efficiency and to back in the market. Besico should rearranging their business operation in order to make their profit. Secondly, the company should rationalize debt equity structure. First is liquidity management. It means that the business has a plan for meeting its short-term and immediate cash obligation without experiencing significant losses. Besico should managing its asset including cash to meet all liabilities, cover all expense and maintain financial liability. Second, bank debt workout negotiation. Besico should renegotiate the term of loans so that the company can pay back all the capital and interest to the lender. Third process is the performance improvement, which is to create essential financial capabilities. This to make sure the organization's vision is made concrete. It describes the way the company will use its strategies to meet its objective. There are 5 steps in strategic planning. First is determine the strategic position. Second, prioritize the objective. Third, develop strategic plan. Fourth, execute and manage plan. And last step is the review and revise plan. Secondly, it is an organizational and personal development. It builds the individual and organizational capacity to engage the complexity of conflict and change. It will equip the company with specific skills and strategies so that they can solve problems before they cause lasting damage. And lastly is recapitalization. It is to attract capital owner. First is company valuation. It is a process and set of procedures used to estimate the economic value of an owner's interest in business. This valuation is used by financial market participants to determine the price the company willing to pay or receive to effect a sale of business. Second is business plan preparation. It is used to determine whether the company has a chance of making a good profit. It provides the startup cost and how much the company need to invest or finance. This is also to convince investors and lenders to fund in the company. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Syahirah. Here are the responses and justification for the financial statement of Besico based on the audit queries. First, Besico assessed the going concern ability by comparing the financial statement from year to year and check out the negative financial trend, as this trend means the company's performance is getting worse. However, in the future, Besico decided to liquidate the unused asset to generate cash to meet its debt obligation. Other than that, we plan to cease the operation for the organization that incurred more losses rather than earning profit and transfer the employee from this organization to the other profitable organization. This can help in increasing the effectiveness of the organization in generating income. For the second audit queries, as for the impairment of property, plant and equipment, our company decided to use the cost basis model. However, we discovered that we have wrongly recorded the transaction for the impairment as we did not record the impairment loss in the statement of profit or loss. So we're moving on to the third audit queries. Deferred tax asset of 378 million is recognized for an unused tax loss, carry forward and unused tax credit. Deferred tax asset will be used to lower the taxable income that is available in the future as the company are expected to gain income in the future. The carrying amount of deferred tax asset will be reviewed at the end of each reporting period. However, the amount will be reduced to the extent that there is no longer probable that sufficient taxable profit will be available to enable the deferred tax asset to be utilized. Next is audit queries 4. According to IAS 2, inventory should be measured at lower of the cost and net realizable value. After we did the net realizable value test, we found out that the cost of the inventories are lower than the net realizable value. Therefore, we recorded our inventories using the cost basis. Lastly, according to our understanding based on IAS 37 provisions, contingent liability and contingent asset, provisions need to be recognized if and only if there is present obligation has arisen as a result of past event. Payment is probable and the amount can be estimated reliably. So, based on the offtake agreement between Giant Steel and Besi DRI Sdn Bhd, there are legal contract between both parties. However, Giant Steel and Besi DRI Sdn Bhd had shut down their operations. Therefore, the offtake agreement is considered as void and no provision should be made. This is because our company not fulfilling the recognition criteria for the provision as there is no longer present obligation between both parties and there is no probable payment that will be made by Besi DRI Sdn Bhd.
That is all from us for case study of Besico. Thank you.